Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry of Mowers and Blowers. Last night we got about 1 to 3 inches, and surprisingly, it's still here the next morning. They said it was going to all melt away from the rain, but it actually continued to snow and sleet. Looky here who the cat dragged in. It's Larry and Bob. They came by today because they had nothing else to do, and I thought I might start my connecting rod on the Briggs opposed twin. And of course, Bob, being the chef and the baker he is, has brought me some goodies.
Hopefully you like them.
What's going on, Bob? How are you? What's going on, baby?
Hello, Henry.
How are you, sir?
Hi, Hank. How are you?
So, let's see what we come up with today. Hey, so, I was working on the opposed twin today, and, you know, you have to be so precise with all that stuff. You know, I wanted to take my time with everything, you know, clean each individual part before I actually put it in. So they didn't have all the time to stick around, and I didn't want to start getting my hands into it. But they just came by for the past hour or so, or just talking. Didn't really do anything. I gave Larry and Bob some Lucas Oil products, you know, because they're my boys. And
A hat?
they're lucky that they're my local boys here, so I share the wealth with them. No shipping. I don't have to spend money on any shipping or whatever. So I gave them some stuff. We shot the shit for about an hour or so. It was good to catch up with them, but I'm going to get started on my, as much as I can do, because, you know, putting together an engine, you've got to be so careful. Everything's got to be pointed in the right direction. And being that I'm putting a 42 cubic inch components into a 46 block, I really have to be really careful. You know what I'm saying? Also, the football championship games are starting in a few hours. It's a 49er fan. Can you believe that?
Hell yeah.
Anyway,
Joe Montana. He was the GOAT before Brady.
You know, I actually met him before.
Yeah.
He's actually kind of a dick.
Is he?
Yeah, but he signed an autograph. It's fine. Anyway, see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. That kind of sucked.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. All right.
I wasn't right.
How about this? Let's do a 3, 2, 1, right? And we'll just do it again.
Okay.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
You know what? Let's do it again. It's gotta be, you know what I mean?
We need some oomph.
When you just know, you know,
Okay.
ready? 3, 2.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
That was good.
Yeah. Henry.
So, Bob and Larry took off. It was good to see them for about an hour or so, you know, just to catch up on stuff. We did a trade, actually. So, as you guys know, this is my John Deere 6.5 horsepower JS63. I found this in the garbage, but it was, I found it in the garbage. But actually, Larry's the one who tipped me off on that machine. So it was locally here in Huntington. He showed me a picture of it, and it was just listed. And I just went over there and got it. As you guys know, I fixed it up. It ran pretty well, but it smoked a lot. So I took a power washer engine that I got from Nick from Medford, and I put it on here, and this thing looks great. It's an auto choke. Maybe it needs a choke. So it's an auto choke 6.5 Briggs. It's a good mower, you know. So I had it listed for like 175. A mailman, his cousin wanted it, so he's supposed to come by later and buy it for like 150 bucks. So it's good. Also, you guys know that I had that Brute air compressor that I got. I don't even remember where I got it from, but I actually spent about 100 bucks on air tools. You know, I got the pack gun, I got the air hammer, and I also got the grinder there. So I spent about $100 on air tools, right? But I don't really use the air tools that much, so I just I did a trade with Larry, and so Larry gave me this thing. I think he found it too. It's a good Toro recycler. It's an older model, but it's in really good shape, and it runs and mows and everything. It's missing a bag. So I did a trade. I don't use that air compressor. I never liked the air tools to trade. I still have the air tools, but I'll sell them locally here, whatever. I never use it. You know, it's been over a year. I just never use it. So Larry could use a second compressor, so I'll trade. It's always good to do a trade. If you don't use it, get rid of it. So here I am in the garage again, and I've started just kind of getting this thing together, just preparing on what I'm planning to do. So just to recap really quick, this engine over here is from this tractor. I got it for free. That's right, free. And it came with 2 blown connecting rods. The trauma from both connecting rods sloshed it around, so as the part where the camshaft connects to on the sump as well as the engine block were both cracked. In addition, as you know, the camshaft is also broken in half. This engine is a 42 cubic inch. This engine that I got for free from Jesse, who basically sold me a yellow MTD Cub Cadet lawn tractor with a supposedly a good engine in it. As you know, I started that engine up, it ran for like a day, and the next day the connecting rod blew and came right out of the side of the connecting rod, the engine block. So I think because that engine, I mean, who knows really why it does that, but evidence showed that it had a lot of oily sludge in it, which means that that engine was probably run for quite a while with very low engine oil. So whatever the metal warped or compromised the structures of certain parts in there, like the connecting rod. Who knows really why? It's physics and science and stuff, and who knows why things blow the way it is. But so that engine was bad and it blew, and so now that tractor is in the backyard with no engine. But I'm getting to this, and engine work is fun, but it's time consuming, and everything's got to be so perfect, before you rebuild an engine. And everything's got to be clean with no metal shards or shavings in it. As you saw from my last episode, I used gasoline and cleaned up everything. It's been sitting here for about 3 days. Finally got in the mail the other day. I believe this to be my connecting rods. These connecting rods are 42 cubic inch connecting rods. They were very cheap. They were only $13 a piece, plus tax. So I think I spent a total of $30 for 2 connecting rods. And these are 42 cubic inch connecting rods that are off of a Briggs opposed twin. And I believe they're off of a 20 horsepower opposed twin. 20. So this is the engine block from Jesse. It's a 46 cubic inch engine, and it's a 21 horsepower engine. The parts that I'm using, the pistons, is what I'm going to use, right? As well as the crankshaft are 42. You could go crazy just thinking about it. I'm also using the oil slinger from that engine. Those are the only things I'm using from this blown engine, are the pistons and the oil slinger. Everything else in here is intact. The only thing busted on this one was the oil slinger and the... I don't even really remember anymore. But anyway, look, so these two connecting rods that I just bought from eBay, they're in good shape, and you can see that it clearly says 42 on it. So these are 42 cubic inch connecting rods. They look to be in good shape, and like I said, they were cheap. How this differs from the 46, I'll show you. So this is a 46 cubic inch piston and connecting rod, and this is out of this Jesse engine, okay? It says 2A46. So look at the difference. The difference is the 46 has an angle to it. The reason behind that is that the angle will create maybe just a slight bit more of a stroke. You follow what I'm saying? It's 46, meaning there's 4 extra cubic inches in the combustion chamber, right? So that allows you to have more fuel mixture inside the combustion chamber, which means a bigger explosion, you know? And that makes up for the 0.5 horsepower that you're getting. So we're talking about extremely minute differences in it, right? This straight one, as opposed to the curved one, just means less distance the piston travels inside the cylinder wall. I mean, that's to my understanding to it. You know, I did a lot of research before I went and did this, you know what I mean? Because you guys know how cheap I am. I'm not going to go spend money if I didn't think this would work, you know? So anyway, I can't use this 46 piston because while this one's good, the other one is bad. There's a chunk of it missing over here, so which is the reason why I can't use the 46 pistons, right? Not to mention, the 46 connecting rods were $45 a piece. And I can't even use this one. I mean, I guess I could, but it's not recommended because there's damage to it. There's a crack here. So we're not doing anything with the 46 pistons, rings, and connecting rod. I'm going to use these two brand new, not brand new, but good condition, 42 cubic inch connecting rods. I'm going to take the 2 pistons out of the 42, carefully connect them one at a time because I don't want to get the angle wrong. You know, I want to take that out slowly and see which direction the connecting rod is pointed. You know, I don't know if it makes any difference whether it's like this. I'm sorry, it's not like that. Like this or like that. You know, there could be a difference. I don't know. Somebody told me that there were notches on the connecting rod that tells you which direction it goes. Like this is the front of the engine. Like there should be an indicator or an arrow that tells you which direction it goes, but I don't see any, you know. So I'm going to take that one out slowly, match it up perfectly. And when I take the piston out, I'm going to take the pin out, put it in. I got to get some lubricants for it, and just put each individual piece in one at a time. And I mean, I could just put it all together really quick, but I want to make sure I put it in correctly, you know, because you're going to go through all the trouble of putting it in. You got to put it in correctly. So rebuilding an engine takes a long time, and I don't know if I can get this done. I have a couple of hours today to do this, so I'll just do what I can, you know. So I think the first thing I want to do is I got to clean the cylinder heads a little bit more. Take one piston out at a time. Build the piston with this connecting rod. Kind of use my fingers and push in the rings, which is how I've always done it. Just slip it in. Do the other side. I have the sump over here that's ready. This is the 46 sump with a 42 oil slinger, right? I'm going to put the oil, got leaves in there and stuff, so I got to make sure everything is clear, you know? This oil slinger works well. This goes in just like that. I got to put the 5/16 screw in here. has a good governor. The seal, crankshaft seal, is good because on this engine there was no residue of oil around that crankshaft seal. So I'm not going to change it, even though I think I have 2 new ones. But sometimes when you take this one out and you put the other one in, you have a chance and a risk of messing this one up or messing the one that you put in up. And then if you put it in, it may not be the exact one. So then you're SOL again. You're shit out of luck again. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If there's no evidence of prior leakage of oil at the crankshaft seal, I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to leave it. So that's what I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do is, all right, so look, I think I'm about ready. So I'm going to pull this piston out of the 42. Okay. All right. I'm not turning it or anything. It's coming out just like it's supposed to go in, right? Just like that. So if you look at the engine, carburetor's there. That's the front part of it. That's the top. This is the bottom. Okay. If you see this notch over here on the piston, this is telling you that it's pointed either up. This has to go up or forward. So, but if you look at the angle of where the connecting rod is, it's got to go in just like that, right? The crankshaft goes in like this. This will go in just like that. So there's no indicators on the connecting rod though. See? Also, as you can see, I have cleaned the surface of this piston, and I did it while it was inside the engine block because it's a lot easier to grind off the carbon off of this while it's in the engine block than if you removed it and had to hold it and clean it, you know? So I already did it. So I'm inspecting the rings here. And it looks pretty good. You can see that where they were put on, right? You have these gaps here. You want to make sure that the gaps are not together because if they're all together, you'll have oil leakage. See how these 3 are together? But basically, you want to do like a Mercedes-Benz sign. 1 point there, 1 point here, and then 1 point there, so that none of the gaps are matching up. You know? So you got a gap here now, got a gap there now, and the other gap is over here. So maybe I want to move it just a little bit more this way. So there's quite a distance between them. Gap here, gap there, gap here. That ought to be good. So again, this notch here should be pointed down, which is up. I mean, honestly, they look exactly the same, so I don't know if it goes in this way or does it go in that way. You know, I don't know. That's the only way to. I mean, they look exactly, you know, symmetrical, right? So I don't think it makes any difference which direction it goes into. I don't see any marks that tell you if it should be this way or that way. Oh, except for the letters. Look, 42 is written on the top. Doesn't say anything there. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this pin. And I'll try to put that thing together. So guess what? After I was cleaning this piston, right? This is the piston that came out of here. I was looking at it carefully, and what do I see? a chunk missing over here. Isn't that a kick in the pants? When you're ready to just put it in, and now you look at this piston and it's like messed up. So I was comparing this good piston from the 46 with the 46 connecting rod. And I was comparing them in every which way, and they appear to be exactly the same piston. I mean, exactly the same. They appear to be identical. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use the two. I'm going to mismatch it, you know? I'm going to use the 46 piston on this 42 connecting rod. What can I do? I have to only use good pistons. Just pulled out this clip here. Just using a socket that fits through here. Okay, I'm just looking at this carefully. All right. G42 says nothing. This is 2A and this is up. 2A and nothing. So I'm thinking I'm just going to use the part that has more letters than the other side. This side didn't have any letters. This one has indications just like that one does, and this was up. So I'm just going to put it in like this. I mean, what can you do? It doesn't have any other markings. You know what I have to do? I can't just put it in like that. I gotta get some kind of lube. I'm gonna put it just like that. I'm gonna get some assembly lube. I've got this assembly lube from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. I'm gonna, once I install this piston into the engine, I'm gonna clean it up over here. Once it's inside, it's easier. Notches here, which means it has to be up. See, now I'm so confused. So I'm going to put some assembly lube on the inner part of this. This is where that pin goes. Very sticky. Assembly lube is very sticky. So sticky. Don't tell me this doesn't fit. Oh, wow, just went in. Cool. Very cool. Surprised it actually goes in just like that, you know? It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. So that's in there. I'm going to put this clip back in here. Clip is back in here. Okay. Alright, so one step is done. I'm going to get some oil. I'm going to oil these rings in between it. Because it has to be lubricated before I put it in there. Because if I don't put it in there now, I'm not sure it'll get any oil. Now, if you look at the way the engine is, the notch has to be facing this side, up. So it's got to go in this way. And because I said the letters have to be pointed up, just like this one here, I wrote the word up here. See where the letters are? On the other side, it just has 2A, but it has the Briggs insignia here. Right? But it just says 2A. These are the ones with the 2 letters, 2A and 46. This one says G and 42. The other side has nothing. So I'm thinking the one with more words is up. So according to what I have here, with the notch pointed up, right? I think that's right. Of course, I think I'm right. I don't know. 100%. I'm going to get some Earl. Got my motor oil here. Just going to go around all the rings just so that they're lubricated before I put them in. The bottom one here is the oil ring. Has like holes in it. It differs from these other rings here. Okay, so I'm going to put this oil ring like right there where the gap is. Now I'm going to rotate it and make this middle ring with the gap like here. And then this gap, I'll put it over here. That's good. Alright, so I'm going to put it in now. Let me get you pointed in the right direction. make sure the cylinder wall is clean. I mean really clean, because if you have like metal shavings there, that's no good. I mean, it's not sterile clean, like surgical clean, like at a hospital or something. Hospital, what a joke. Sometimes you go into a hospital with like a small thing, and you never end up coming out of there because somebody chopped your leg off or something. Avoid hospitals at all costs. If you can live through just being on your own, don't go to a hospital. Bad things happen at hospitals. You can go in perfectly healthy and die in there. Hey, I went in to get my left leg amputated because of diabetes. Well, guess what? I got my right leg amputated because some idiot wrote down the wrong thing. Hey, look, that stuff happens, man. I'm not making it up. You hear it all the time. Putting some Earl just to help me insert this into the hole. You gotta lubricate all holes that you want to put stuff in. Things go in the holes easily when you have lubrication. Alright, okay, so look. Top, notch. It's gonna go in this way. I'm gonna check the gap again for my rings. Let's check again, make sure that there's nothing in there. No debris, leaves. The gap is there. 1, 2. Gap is opposite of that one. This gap is kind of close to that one, which I don't like, so we'll go right here. Okay, notch is there, so it has to be going in this way.
Henry, you should really use a ring compressor to get it in.
Yes, but I don't have a ring compressor.
But Henry, how are you going to get it in there?
I just use my fingers.
That's not the right way to do it, Henry.
Well, it does seem like it's difficult to do.
That's why you have to get a ring compressor, Henry.
Well, I don't have one. I'm just going to use my fingers, damn it. It's probably going to take a while, too. You know what I'm going to try to find, though? I have an old-style oil filter wrench. I can go around here like that, compress it, and just bang that in there. That might work. That is, if I could even find the damn thing. So while I have done it with my fingers before, this is like my 3rd opposed twin that I've done, and I've always used my fingers, but I've just spent about a half an hour just trying to get the first oil ring in there. I mean, it's so strong that, you know, once you try to get the first one in, it pops out on the other side. I also tried my wrench here, my oil filter wrench, but it's not exact. It doesn't close all the way. You know what I'm saying? So there's a gap here, you know, so it doesn't compress that part of the ring enough to get it in there, you know. And I didn't want to bang this if this part is still sticking out, you know. So there's also space in between here too. See, when you close it, there's a space here and a space there. So this thing is just not made for it. So that's not working. But I wish I had a hose clamp, you know, that's that diameter. So just looking in my garage, I see that there's a hose clamp for this backpack blower that my friend Jason from Pate's Performance gave me. See? So maybe I can put this hose clamp over the rings and compress it, and then use a mallet and tap it in. it's not going to work because this part here, this ring is still sticking out. I have to readjust this so that all rings are compressed. So I've got all 3 rings compressed. Ho-ho! Look at that, fellas! That was the first time I ever did that. Hose clamp. Tap it. The wood side. Boom! It's in there, fellas. Success! Success! I tell you, success! That was, I gotta tell you, fellas, that was very satisfying for me to be able to do that. Stokage. That was great. That was great. Now, guess I do the other one. I've been at this for a very long time. I've got some issues for sure. Okay, so as you saw, I was successful in placing the pistons and rings by compressing the rings with the clamp, right? That worked out really well. I actually had to take them back out again a couple of times because I had forgotten to put the crankshaft in first before I pushed both pistons in. So if you push both pistons in, right, with the rings into the cylinder walls, you can't get the crankshaft in. So when I tried to push them back out again, it popped back out again. So I had to take out both pistons again, put the crankshaft in, then put the pistons back in again using my hose clamp idea. Now the hose clamp idea is very good actually. It worked flawlessly. It's very good. So you guys don't need to go out and get a ring compression tool. Just get a hose clamp. Works just fine. Preferably a thicker one, you know, because this is thick enough just to hold the 3 in. Barely, you know. So if you had a little bit more thicker hose clamp, that would work perfect. All right, so look, I've got issues, man, big time. So there's something wrong. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something wrong, okay? So when I tighten all the bolts, right, of the connecting rods, the 2 bolts that hold the other end to the connecting rod to get it onto the journals, right? If I tighten them, which are supposed to be tight, right, it won't move at all. So when I loosen them, then they move. However, there's one part here that actually hits. And it's not very easy to turn. It's hard. It's difficult to turn. So the bottom part right there. When you get to around here, boom, it hits. It actually hits. Like the bolt top hits the side. I even flipped it around, actually. You know, I took it and I flipped it around because one side was a little bit thinner than the other side. And look, when you put the the camshaft in, right, it actually pushes it this way, so then it'll clear. So I think that'll actually work, you know. But honestly, so when the camshaft is in here, it pushes this. So you can move this around like a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So the camshaft is here. It would actually push it out more like that, and then it will clear. You see what I'm saying? So that's okay. But I'm bothered by the fact that I can't spin this freely with my hands. You know what I'm saying? I need to use this to grip around it, and it's actually making, you know, these shavings around here, which is not good. You know, some slight shavings around here. It's so hard to turn. You know, so I don't know. I don't think so. So I think something's wrong. I don't think these connecting rods are gonna fit this thing. So I don't know, fellas. I'm a little bit frustrated and kind of scratching my head as to, you know, why it just won't turn easily. You know, I mean, if you tighten the bolts and stuff, it won't even turn. So I'm thinking, I mean, could it be the crankshaft journal thickness? If it's thicker than that, you know, but this is supposed to be the right one, you know. It's the 42 cubic inch crankshaft with 42 rods. I don't know. This one I'm at a loss here, you know. I mean, should I buy a 46 rod, you know? But I mean, I don't know why that it just seems like it's not, you know, turning, you know. I mean, it'll turn, but it's really hard to turn, and it won't let me turn it unless I loosen the bolts. You can't loosen the bolts. It's got to be super tight on there, you know, like almost torqued down a lot. So I don't know. This is the sump. I just installed the oil slinger. The oil slinger on this was broken, so I took it off of the old one and put it on here. When Bob and Larry were here, we actually mocked this up, and we actually put the camshaft on here and the crank, and when we were turning it, everything seemed to turn well. But what it is it's the connecting rods and the crankshaft. I don't think they match up right, you know. you can't even turn this, you know. I mean, I got a lot done, sort of, you know, to get the pistons attached to the connecting rods and to insert the piston with connecting rod in here using not the oil filter remover tool, but rather the hose clamp thing works great. So this video is going to be how to install pistons and rings without a ring compressor tool, but a hose clamp. So, you know, that was pretty cool for me to get that in there with this, you know. So that's good. And another good thing was the cousin of my mailman came and bought my John Deere JS63. I had it listed for 175, 200, whatever. I gave it to him for 150, which is a good price, you know. That one, as you know, was I found it off the street from a tip from Larry, and I actually changed the engine with the same engine, but this was an auto choke off of a power washer, and so now it doesn't smoke. So now it's a good mower. You know, I sold him a good mower. You know, 150 is fair, I guess, especially for somebody that knows the mailman, whatever, his cousin. So that's my video for today. I'm gonna go get cleaned up and get ready to watch championship weekend. 49ers, and I think the other one is, I don't even remember, you know. Oh, Tennessee, you know, nobody stops Derrick Henry. Anyway, I'll see you fellas next time on Mowers and Blowers. Hey guys, support my channel, buy a sticker. Also follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next one. Have a great day.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.